Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hayle Santella and I upload videos all about living a happy and healthy lifestyle. In today's video, we are going to be sitting down and chatting through my spring and summer 2021 reading list. And I have a handful of books that I'm currently reading right at this moment, so I thought that would be a good place to start. The very first book that I'm going to talk about, I have had on my list probably for a year now, and it is Imagine It Forward by Beth Comstock. And now this is a business marketing type book. It's all about leadership and pushing forward with change within your company. So this is a book that I have made a little bit of progress in, but I'm going through it really slowly. It's not really the most riveting book. It's definitely more of a businessy type book, which, to be honest, it's not always the book that I reach for when I'm outside of my work hours. But I do reach for it from time to time, so that's why I'm working through it slowly. It'll just be a matter of time before I finish it. The next book that is on my reading list is called Minimal: How to Simplify Your Life and Live Sustainably, and it is by Madeleine Olivia. So I just recently started this one. I think I'm maybe a chapter or two in, and just as the cover says, it's all about living a minimal, sustainable lifestyle. It talks about decluttering, talks about switching out products and things that you consume. So I really enjoyed this book. I love reading about minimalism and like ethical living and simplifying your life and sustainability and all of that. So far so good. I've been enjoying it. I actually also follow her here on YouTube. So if you are interested in that topic at all, I highly recommend her channel. She's got some really good content on there. I'll make sure to leave her channel linked below. The next book, again, similar to Imagine It Forward, has been on my list for quite a while, and it is The Intelligent Investor, and it is by Benjamin Graham. So this is a big, hefty book, and the print's kind of small, but I have really actually enjoyed this book. Again, I'm just kind of going through it pretty slowly. It's all about investing in the stock market and learning how to intelligently, hence the title, invest in the stock market. I'm really interested in finances and personal finance and financial independence and retiring early and anything that really revolves around that topic. This book came highly recommended by multiple people, so I decided to pick it up, and I'm just kind of working through it. Again, I'm not very far into this book either, just a couple of chapters, so I am working my way through this one as well. The next book that I'm reading is actually on my Kindle. I recently got a Kindle within the last couple of months, and it is what has sparked me reading more. I have read so many books on my Kindle already, but the book that I have here right now is called Grabbing Mane, and it is by Natalie Keller Reinhardt. But this book is all about horses, hence the title Grabbing Mane. And if you guys don't know, I absolutely love horses. I used to take lessons when I was younger, and I used to volunteer at a barn. So it's definitely in my wheelhouse to be reading this book. I don't particularly like the style of writing so much, but so far I like the storyline, so I'm pushing through and continuing to read it. Right now it says that I'm about 18% of the way through the book. That is one thing that I like about having the Kindle, is that it shows me the percentage that I've made like progress through the book. It also predicts on how long it'll take me to finish the chapter. So if I'm sitting down real quick and just want to read a couple pages, I know that I may or may not finish the chapter based on the time that it tells me. So those are the books that I'm currently reading, and I tend to fluctuate between the four of them. I'll grab one here, grab one there. This last one that I mentioned, I typically will read before going to bed. It really just depends on my mood and the atmosphere and kind of what I'm feeling on what book I'll go ahead and pick up. That being said though, let's jump into the books that I have on the docket for what I'm going to read next throughout this spring and summer. The first one that I have here is called Dancing with Elephants, and it is by Kalyn Nicholson, and it is actually a poetry book. I personally really enjoy reading poetry, and I like to have at least one poetry book in my current reading stack basically at all times. Right now I don't have one just because I do have a pretty big stack to read through, so I'm waiting to finish one of those before I go ahead and open up this poetry book. I enjoy reading a couple of pages here or there and slowly make my way through a poetry book over the span of a month or two. maybe even longer depending on the size of it. But I'm really excited to jump into this poetry book. I also have another book written by Kalyn called Catcher, and I really liked that book as well, which prompted me to pick up her poetry book. If you don't know, Kalyn Nicholson is a YouTuber as well, and make sure to link her channel below. I love her personality and I love the content that she puts out, so if you enjoy my content, you may like her content as well. The next book on my reading list is a classic. I have a small stack of classic books that I never got to read as a child, and I'm slowly making my way through them now, just because I feel like I missed out on a little bit of life there. So I've picked up Anne of Green Gables, and yeah, you guys might be surprised that I've never read this book, but I'm really excited to. I just read Little Women this last winter, absolutely loved it, and then I read Heidi before that. So now I'm moving on to Anne of Green Gables, and this edition is actually in partnership with a Rifle Paper Company. So it has some fun illustrations and designs, and I'm all about little quirky illustrations like this, so that's kind of what prompted me to pick up this book. I'm really excited to read it. I don't know a ton about the storyline at all. Like I mentioned, I never read this book as a kid, and I've never seen any of the videos or series that have been made based off of this book. So I'm really going into it blind, so I'm really excited to see how it goes and how it turns out and how I like it. The next book that I have here is a book that Sean actually picked up for me for Christmas because he saw that it was on my list for this year, and it's actually quite a heavy book. I'm actually surprised when I just picked it up right now. But it is called The Splendid and The Vile, and it is by Erik Larson. It is actually all about Winston Churchill. I'm really excited to read this book. Like I said, it's a pretty big book, but I'm really interested in British culture and British history, so I'm very excited to read this and learn a little bit about the time period and Winston Churchill and just kind of the history of everything that was going on in those moments. I'm really excited to read this book. I might actually bump it up on my list a little bit higher so that I start reading it sooner, just because I'm so excited about this one. All right, so that is 3 books that I have planned after the ones that I'm currently reading, and then I have some more that I have planned on my Kindle, so we'll jump into those now. The first one that I have right here on the top is Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. I'm sure you guys have all heard of this book. I absolutely loved her other book that's called Girl, Wash Your Face, so I'm really excited to go ahead and read this one now. Next on the list is The Art of Inheriting Secrets by Barbara O'Neill. I read her book Mermaid Sisters, some Mermaid Girls, something about mermaids, and it was amazing. I read through that book so fast, so I went to go see what else she had written, and this was on the list, so I've got that one picked out. And then the last book that I have to share with you guys is called Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vandera. And I had picked this book out quite a while ago, and when I got my Kindle, I was really excited to see that it was available on Kindle Unlimited, so I went ahead and downloaded it quick. It seems like more of a mysterious book, which is a little bit different for me, so I'm excited to read that one as well. So that is all of the books that I have planned for this spring and summer. As you guys can see, I have a pretty big list to read through, but I am excited about all the books that I have picked out. I know I'm trudging through a couple of the ones that I am currently reading, but hopefully I can get those kind of off my plate so I can move on to the more exciting ones. I think we're gonna go ahead and end the video here. Let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what is currently on your reading list, or if I need to swap something out and add a book to my reading list. And if you know of anybody that would be interested in this video or any of my other videos, please make sure to share it with them. It really helps to support my channel. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.